David Bukovsky, who's the VP of Product Management at BroadSoft, who the company is a leader in the application space, application server space in particular. So we should get another unique perspective from him, and please join me in welcoming him to the stage. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So apologize for Mike not being able to be here. Mike Tessler, my boss, got pulled away to Europe for a customer emergency. So I got to come out here, and I'm going to have kind of a fun topic, because what I want to talk to you about today is collaborative technologies, basically the internet and web-based applications and how they are merging and working with telephony-based applications. So we'll have some fun with this one, and hopefully it'll just move right along. I'll talk about the concept and what we mean by that, and I'll talk about a program that we're running at BroadSoft that will serve as an example for how a hosted service provider or how a hosted applications provider can take voice and video applications and mash them up with web-based, internet-based applications. And I think we'll skip the question and answer to keep the keynote session moving along. So the concept is not new. Web-based mapping software has been around for a long time. I'm sure we all use it. You go on a map, you find a location. Google Maps is a great example of that. The ability to go online and look at real estate and look for a home has always been there. What web-based mashups gave us is now I can take a mashup program and I can go see a map of houses that I want to go and buy. So this is the concept of web-based mashups, and this is a web application mashed up with another web application, pretty well accepted now in the industry, been around for quite some time. And web applications are prolific. Facebook has 140 new mashups a day, so developers all over the world are looking at the APIs on Facebook and writing applications that mash Facebook up with other applications. Application integration, though, is now moving away from just web-to-web applications and moving towards communications applications. So we're seeing a lot of this with the innovation that's going on around the iPhone. There's developers all over the place that just can't wait to write applications for the iPhone. Apple's estimating that they're selling $1 million a day in iPhone application sales, and that's probably going to grow significantly from there. So we at BroadSoft view voice integration as a new expansion opportunity in the kind of mashup space to combine internet-based applications with real-time voice and video multimedia applications. And the reasons why carriers and end users want these are to create new revenue opportunities and to create better customer satisfaction. If your customer is using an application from your network and they've got it tied into another application that they use, and it's not available on another network, or it's something that they're very comfortable with and they like, they're less likely to move off your network. You're going to increase customer satisfaction, reduce churn, ultimately reduce revenue and profit, increase revenue and increase profitability through the reduction of churn. And the other important thing to note, and kind of goes back to what I showed at first, is the customers of voice service providers, they're already using web-based applications today. And it's not just kids using Facebook instead of email. It is sales professionals that are using hosted CRM applications like Salesforce.com and living in those applications. Service providers and voice service providers need to realize that to reach their customers, sometimes they need to reach them within the web applications that they use. This is not going to happen. This is already happening today. So to give you an example about how internet applications merge with telephony-based applications, I'll talk about our program at BroadSoft called Extended, because it really illustrates how this might be rolled out. So there's three main parts to our program. The first thing you have to have is you have to have the right APIs on the platform. We've always had a rich set of open APIs, but we found that we had to develop a new family of APIs that are more web-oriented, more Web 2.0 oriented. If you want developers to innovate around your platform, you have to support them. You have to answer their questions. You have to give them a way to try things out. You have to support them, and I'll talk about our developer support and our developers program. And then, because traditionally in the voice space, it takes a long time for applications to reach end users, we had to think about how to change the game a little bit. How do we get these applications out to end users without them having to be formally offered through the normal service provider process? And to do that, we've come up with a concept of a marketplace. It's really not new. This is how you would get. I can go and I can get plenty of applications from my BlackBerry today that don't come from AT&T, my service provider. So we're just kind of expanding on something that's already out there. So first we'll talk about the interfaces. So there's web-based application users. There's customers of voice and video services that are out there today using the web-based applications. I'm stating that as a well-known fact. They're using web services from Web 2.0 service providers. These are some of the consumer-oriented examples, but again, we have other examples like hosted CRM systems that apply more to business. Those users are integrating in through the carrier's network through the APIs that we build on the platform that sits in the carrier's network that use these Web 2.0 based APIs. Those APIs are what we call RESTful APIs. That means they're lightweight, they're easy HTTP, and they can also encapsulate other protocols in their HTTP containers, and they're very easy for developers to develop applications to. The idea behind developers building these applications is not that these things would take years or months or even weeks. These are applications that can be developed after work, on the weekend. We have a developers contest that's going on, and we have a lot of the developers that are writing applications are blogging about their experience. And I recall reading one recently where the guy said, "Well, it was raining on Sunday, so while the kid was taking a nap, I went downstairs and I started writing this application. I didn't get it done, but Monday when I came home from work, I finished it off." That's the kind of time scales that we're looking at to get these applications written and out to the marketplace. But as I said earlier, to really get developers to innovate and to really get developers excited about writing applications, they need to be supported. So what we've done is created the developer site where we put all the documentation around the APIs and how to use them. We put sample code of applications that have been written to the APIs so people can go see exactly how it's done and then envision how they could do it. We support forums and blogs and wikis so that we have employees is that part of their job, part of something they have to do in their everyday job is go in and answer questions and get on forums and write blogs and support the developers that are trying to do this directly from the experts themselves. And then we have the concept of a sandbox. Maybe the easiest way to describe a sandbox is that now every developer has a lab system. They have a lab system that's hosted by us, maintained by us, and managed for them that they can access through the internet so that they don't have to buy a lab system, they don't have to maintain a lab system, and they don't have to support a lab system. And because every developer now has a lab system, they can quickly test and validate their applications and try them out. And we call that our sandbox. So developer support is very important here. The marketplace. I talked a little bit about this earlier. The marketplace is really a place to get the applications. Think of it as a software.com or a download.com. Look at for example, in the hosted CRM space, what Salesforce.com has. They have a page where an app exchange where you can get apps that can plug into Salesforce.com. This is the kind of concept. The idea is to have an exchange where end users can get to the applications in a rapid way where they don't necessarily have to go through the carrier's service introduction process. So it's an alternative distribution method and really a way to kind of spur some innovation and try to get these applications out there to end users and let them start trying them and let them start getting feedback to these developers. And give these developers ideas on how they can improve their applications, monetize their applications, ultimately commercialize their applications. So that's the basics of the program. What I wanted to do next was have some fun and show some of the cool examples. So these are all real screenshots that we've taken from real applications that have been written by developers on the developer website. A few of them we've even written internally, like an engineer had some time in the evening and he just wrote an application because he thought it would be cool or knew how to do it. So the first one I'll show has call history and call settings. So call settings like what you see in the middle, turn on and off my do not disturb, reset my call forward always, turn on and off my remote office or my simultaneous ring for my fixed mobile convergence service, and then a call history with call logs. Who's been calling, and now how do I go into that log and click on those and do something like, for example, a click to call to return a call. I see I missed a call. I click on the extension. I pick up my phone. I'm talking to that person through a click to call. And I'm going to show you these two applications in 3 different forms. So here we have them in the web, in iGoogle as a web-based application. So written into the iGoogle program through the iGoogle APIs, displayed on my iGoogle site. Here we have it as the iGoogle toolbar or sidebar, I think is the correct name for it, where we've pulled it up out of iGoogle and have it up on the screen and can use it there. Here's a screenshot of the same application in an iPhone browser. So this is a screenshot right from the iPhone running in the browser of the iPhone. So it's a web-based application. It should be able to run on any type of browser or web connectivity. Again, it's the same application. You can do the same types of things with that application, controlling your call settings, doing click-to-call. Very lightweight application, was written very quickly in a matter of hours or days, and validated through a sandbox and available for end users to try. Similar type of application written by another developer on the browser of a BlackBerry. So the browser of the BlackBerry is a little different than the iPhone, maybe a little bit more challenging, but again, can do the same type things, changing your call forward settings, changing your do not disturb. You combine that with other things you can run on the BlackBerry, like for example, a client that allows you to do business dialing. So I load this Mobile Max client on my BlackBerry, and I can do 4-digit extension dialing. All my calls go back through my business telephony system. Combine that with the ability to change these settings, and I've got a really powerful fixed mobile convergence play right here on my BlackBerry. Talk about a real hardcore business application. So our sales guys at our company, when they're not out selling, when they're not out talking to the customer, when they're not out closing deals, when they're back in the office or at their home office or at their hotel room doing their work, they're using their CRM system. We just happen to be a customer of Salesforce.com, a hosted software as a service CRM system. So we've written a plugin that goes directly in Salesforce.com. It has a place for a logo. It can be branded by the carrier itself. So that place where you see BroadSoft, that's not the brand we want people to see. We want the carriers to put their brand in there. And while these sales folks are in Salesforce.com doing their work, updating their contacts, figuring out who they need to go see next, figuring out what they've done, and they get a call that comes in on their phone, whether it be their work phone or their mobile set up as a shared call appearance or a simultaneous ring as their work phone, they see who's calling, and it pulls up their profile and information. So they know what price they promised them the last time they were talking to them because it's up there in front of them so they don't screw it up, right? But they can also do other things. They can click to answer the call. So they click on the button, they pick up their phone, the call is there. Maybe it's a customer that needs to pay their maintenance bill, and so let's maybe warm transfer them to the accounting department so we can wire those funds in and get their support turned back on. So you can do warm transfers, blind transfers, transfer them over. You can kill the call and send it right to voicemail. All this can be done from the application. The point is that the sales guys are using this application. They're living in this web-based application. What we've done is we've married their telephony experience into that application so they don't have to leave that application to use their telephony service. It just makes it a lot easier. It's very simple to use. The toolbar is color-coded with buttons based on what they want to do. They move the mouse over, they click, they do what they need to do. They're very productive. They stay in their application. And of course, this doesn't just have to work with a software as a service or a hosted CRM tool. We've done the same integration with ACT, another CRM-based tool. And this tool, as the call comes up, it gives the user the ability to put the information right in the customer's profile, pulls up the customer's profile and starts pre-populating it. When did they call? What day is it? What time? How was the call received? And you can put their notes in right in the tool. Again, trying to reach the end user in the tools that they use to recognize and take advantage of the fact that they're already using these tools. Again, this isn't something that's going to happen. They are using these tools today. A little bit more of a residential example. So TiVo has APIs. Developers can write into the TiVo APIs and tie in communications into TiVo. So you're in your TiVo and you want to log in and look at your call list, look at your call logs. I want to see all the calls I placed right from my TiVo while I'm watching TV. I can see what the calls are. I can move the cursor down, decide which call I want to select, click to call, and return that call. All without getting off the sofa. So I don't know if that's a totally practical example, but people assure me that there's people that would like to be able to do that. But the idea is just to show how easy it is to write these applications and to do these telephony-based mashups, especially if you have the right. You have a legitimate developer support program to encourage developers to do that. So the message I want to leave you with is to make internet applications, web applications, and voice applications work together, you have to have a simple API. You have to have something that people can understand, find the documentation on, and really write applications to and get good support. It's going to leverage the great ideas that are out there. So we launched our developers program, I believe in April, at the Web 2.0 conference up the coast in San Francisco. And we've had since then, and it's brand new, 1,000 developers sign up. For us, that's pretty cool. Now we got 1,000, we just added 1,000 developers to our product for free. They're innovating around our platform. That's many, many times our R&D organization. And they have a lot of great ideas. There's a lot of innovation out there just waiting to get out. You see it in the Facebook mashups. You see it in the iPhone applications. You need to see it with hosted telephony as well. And there's smart customers out there that want these things, know how to use them, and smart developers that are able to do that development. Of course, you do have to have a scalable and feature-rich platform. You have to implement the APIs in the right way. You have to have security and make sure that the APIs cannot get into core call control and crash the system or anything like that. But we're really good at that kind of stuff. That's core call control is our specialty. And when you add all this up, you really have sort of infinite possibilities of how to bring more innovation to voice applications by combining them with internet and web-based applications. When we announced what we were doing with Salesforce.com and we're promoting our plugin, it was picked up by IDC. And basically what they're saying is that service providers need to think beyond just traditional voice. Don't be a dumb pipe provider. Be an application provider. Add more value. Gain revenue. Gain customer loyalty. Gain stickiness. Reduce churn. Increase customer satisfaction. These are all real tangible business things. There are good business reasons why companies should want to offer these services. And IDC said this was an important first step to taking communications out of its silo and integrating it into the business process, into things like CRM. So the message I want to leave you with is there is a lot of value in integrating voice with internet-based applications. This potentially is a way to help the industry kind of break the logjam and innovate, because now what we see is the ability for people to get applications without having to get them from their service provider. Again, when you go get an iPhone app from the iPhone store, you're not getting it from the service provider. When I go get applications to run on my BlackBerry, I'm not getting them from the service provider. And you know what? If I get a free piece of software and it sucks too much battery out of my phone, or it doesn't work, or I don't like it, I just uninstall it. I don't call AT&T and put in a help call or complain that their service is broke. I've accepted the model that I can get applications from other places than just my service provider. But I'm sure happy that I have an AT&T BlackBerry phone that can support third-party apps. And again, this is just another way to reach end users. We need to find as many different ways to reach end users, as many ways to provide value, as many ways to make them happier with their service provider, give them a better customer experience, and a stickier customer experience. Thank you.